I'm sorry, so you're telling me that Mari took the choreography directly from the Sweets Police and taught it to Mine and Sakurako? That's not how choreography works. Wait, Mari gets a song from Utaha afterwards? What? Do they not know how... Oh, whatever, just roll the intro. Okay, next on, why is the sparkle over her armpit? Serenade Promenade is the 40th Blue Archive event and the first event we'll be looking at. My name is Lolicon A, or LLCNA for long, and Sensei, if you are a Mari fan, you are eating good this event. Because despite the marketing, the web event and the new song Twinkle Star Magic, this event is surprisingly enough not a Sakurako event. But before we get into that, I actually want to talk about said web event. It's good. It's good. Fully voiced, or at least for the playable characters, in Korean, Milk Tea Insanity is a charming prelude divorced from the story of the event that serves to reintroduce, or for any new sensei, introduce the characters of the sisterhood. It revolves around one of the culinary world's most controversial arguments. In Milk Tea, do you add the milk to the tea, or the tea to the milk? It's really cute. The Korean actresses do a very good job at selling this cuteness for each character. This is my favorite line. A friend once said to me that he prefers when the students are just goofing around, more than being involved in anything dramatic. Although my favorite story chapter is Eden Treaty, I do agree that generally the writers do better in this setting. The stories are small comedic episodes that play into Blue Archive's overarching coming-of-age theme. Just small things building up to a final chat with the student, where you help them learn and grow, coming closer to being a complete person. I think Milk Tea Insanity does this well, considering the short runtime. It really manages to squeeze the appeal of Blue Archive into 10 minutes of content. And I wanted to give it credit for having Sakurako's conclusion be slightly different than just the expected, have it how you like, milk first or tea first. She concludes that the fights we have about it aren't necessarily useless, and that the passion for something as simple as our opinion on milk tea is something to be respected, even if it seems silly. As long as you're trying to make someone's day better with your recommendation, voicing your difference in opinion is something to be treasured too. All that is to say, the objectively correct answer is no milk at all. Now, I think it's important to emphasize the success of Milk Tea Insanity in telling this relatively simple story, because in comparison, Serenade Promenade is kind of a mess. The basic premise of the story is that Sakurako of the Sisterhood and Mine of the Remedial Knights are trying to change the image of their organizations by competing in the Trinity Carnival's pop idol competition. They enlist Mari's aid because neither can decide on how exactly they are going to become pop idols, and the story revolves around Mari getting advice from other participants of the pop idol competition. Okay, side tangent. Why did they decide to call them pop idols instead of just idols? Did they think the Western audience would think of a different kind of idol? Did they think anyone playing Blue Archive would not know what the typical Japanese or Korean idol is like? Whatever. Your first stop with Mari, because as always sensei you find a way to get yourself involved with matters concerning your students dressing up, is with the Foreclosure Task Force. Here we get a first look at what is assuredly for a lot of people the highlight of this event, the idol portraits. After resolving a minor dispute, and forcing these girls into bearing their midriffs, Ayane and Serika are up first, and these portraits, compliments to the chef. What is there to say that you can't just see? The black boots, asymmetric socks, the stocking, thigh squish on the straps, belt harnesses for a splash of colour. Serika's not even wearing her belt right. The waist capes on opposite sides to make them two in a set on stage, and I think it's really cute that Serika's hat is smaller because it has to fit between her ears. These portraits just look so good on their own, but especially next to one another. My hope is that we get these both as our rerun units, but my prayer is that we only get one so I don't have to roll as much. With the help of Nanami and I assume the funding of the Sisterhood, Mari manages to secure costumes from the same tailor for Mine and Sakurako. They're good too, but I want to talk about them a bit later, so for now, we can just call that costume collected. There is a little moment where Mari feels inspired by Serika and Ayane's costumes, but we'll put a pin in that for now as well. So next, you and Mari head to Valkyrie, where Kirino and Fubuki are apparently signed up to the idol competition, sponsored by a donut shop. Fubuki offers to teach Mari the choreography for their performance, and if you're keeping up so far, you should already know what's wrong with this. Because Mari then goes back to Sakurako and Mine and teaches them the dance. So are the Sweet Police also doing Tomodachi One Step? Are they doing a different song with the same dance? Now and I use the term very loosely, entirely possible that Mari choreographed a new dance or made some adjustments to the dance to fit what is also an issue, but that is an explanation for the next story. For now, we have some outfits to look at. These are so funny. They really took every opportunity to put donuts everywhere reasonable, and then some. The fried donut holes near the hem of the skirts are such a funny touch. There's basically no difference between the two outfits besides minor color swaps. They both even have looped hair and ribbons, which I assume are meant to replicate donuts. But I like the fact that Fubuki has proportionally puffier sleeves. They make her look even smaller. It almost makes up for the fact that she doesn't have inexplicably giant shoes anymore. Oh, and real quick, Mari using the dance that Kirino does earlier to distract that hostage taker is realistically so amazingly stupid. But I don't know, it kinda works. This isn't exactly the most serious event, and I think it's really cute how impressed the part-timer is with the girls. Mari being shown how useful being an idol is will also come up later, so let's put a pin in that too. Finally, Mari's last job is finding a song. Because of course, you can't have idols without the song. The student actually finds you this time as Utaha barges into Cheryl insisting on helping. She explains that she has plenty of songs prepared because she too was planning on participating in the competition. And she offers to give one to Antique Seraphim. I don't mind this. It's not like idols have to or ever really do write their own music. But I think the fantasy of the fictitious idol is broken down a little bit if they don't at least have a bespoke musical piece. For example, the song Tomodachi Step has a prayer as the opening, and sings about revealing your true feelings, which becomes very relevant to Mari during the final act of the story. Now, I think it makes sense that Mari would choose this song, and it's cute to think that this early on she was subconsciously deciding on the song about preparing to show your true feelings, but Utaha doesn't strike me as the type of girl to write this at all, or prepare a song like this in any way. I don't know, maybe Mari or Sakurako added the prayer. But, dear sensei, of course that isn't the biggest issue with this. We've been building up to this since the beginning of the video, and now I can finally talk about it. What the fuck do you mean they chose the choreography before the song? What do you mean they got the choreography that was already made for another song and then chose a different song afterwards to use it for? Is the Sweets Police also doing Tomodachi One Step? That would be an insane coincidence considering Mari doesn't even know the song by the time she picks up the choreography. Is this a common thing? Do Mine and Sakurako now just adjust whatever dance they were given to match the song that they've decided on? Am I going crazy? Or do you not at least need the beat of a song before you can even think about doing the entire choreography? Was the dance just a list of moves to be included after the song was decided? Seriously, either I am missing something about how idols work, or I am questioning how the fuck anyone wrote it like this. Please, please, please tell me if I'm missing something. Ultimately though, this tangent doesn't matter towards the story that the event is trying to tell. The mechanics of how an idol performance comes together is only as important as how much it tells us about Mari. The real answer is the song came last, because they needed Utaha to be last, since she talks about how Mari wants to be an idol too. Surprisingly enough, Mari becoming one of the participating idols has never been brought up so far, but of course, and for the last time I promise, let's put a pin in that too and talk about Utaha idol. Is it just me, or does Utaha look a lot smaller in this outfit? Like an old Asian grandma mixed with a young girl at her first choir recital. I don't know, in my head, Utaha idol is a lot shorter than Utaha Chia, if that makes any sense at all. Maybe it's the shoes. I think she's just wider or something. That being said, it is a very endearing thing to be small and cute. It makes me want to carry her around after her feet are sore from walking on Ghetto all day around the Trinity Carnival. I also really like her doyagao. Alright, let's pull all those pins out, shall we? When Mari admires Ayane and Serika's outfits, she exclaims that she would want to wear something like that. She learns the dance that Kirino does instantly, maybe because she's some kind of dance savant, but more likely because she is enamored by idols. And when she thinks about how you only have the song left to collect, she's disappointed that her idol activities are coming to an end. This stumbles its way into being the most compelling part of the event, because when she finally turns in the song, the last of her quests, she feels dissatisfied. When she leaves the room as Sakurako and Mine prepare to practice, I think this is when she realizes what she herself wants. Mari wants to be an idol. And no duh. Even if the event gacha, event icon, event shop, and occasionally the event lobby didn't give it away, this was apparent. But that isn't the point. If it is so obvious and Mari herself seems to know it as well, then why doesn't Mari just join Antique Seraphim? Maybe idols and nuns are just incompatible, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Just look at Saku fucking Rako. It's not like Mari is even that married to the idea of acting like a nun. Does that surprise you, Sensei? It shouldn't, as that is how they open the event story. Yes, this is where I'm going to talk about it. No, that doesn't make it any less dumb. We can see most of the decorum melt away when she has to make it to Trinity Plaza as quickly as possible, when she steals a motorcycle at gunpoint. You have to understand, Mari isn't a nun because it is proper, she is a nun because it is good. It's where she can help the most people. We see it in this event, and we see it, of course, in Mari Track, that Mari will not always embody the habit, but always embody the role where she can help the most people. It is because of this reason that she doesn't have to be a nun, but also why she can't herself wants to become an idol. When she finally joins Antique Seraphim, which is a shocker, I know, she has to be asked to join. She is overjoyed by this. She takes on the role as leader because it is asked of her, but why does she have to be asked? It all has to do with what Mari believes an idol is. Someone who wears beautiful clothes, does fun dances, and most importantly, when we look at her choice of song, someone whose true feelings surface and reach you. When Mari talks about being afraid of seeing herself too highly, yes, she's talking about being familiar with you, but also about seeing herself as an idol. Someone selfish enough to grab your attention, to be spoiled, to be seen highly by other people. Only when it's asked of her does it become a role where she can help other people, and that lends a sort of bittersweetness to the final scene. When she relays that this week had made her unimaginably happy but tears up the photos, evidence that it had happened, explaining that tomorrow she would just be a sister again. It makes you wonder if she ever intends to do anything for herself. Her stubbornness to remain only as someone who spoils and not someone to be spoiled, it gives impact to her only act of selfishness in the entire event. When she gives you a picture of herself, the only one that she didn't destroy, she asks that before everything goes back to normal, you keep this secret with her. I see it as her way of telling you that she might ask to be spoiled again, even if it's only to you. It's good. It's good. Once again, Blue Archive is at its best during these debriefs, where you're just talking to a student about how they've grown during the story. There's a lot of mental gymnastics to really understand this one. I doubt it makes much sense to anyone that Mari wouldn't just be invited to be an idol straight away, or even think that her becoming an idol is spoiled, but it's good. It's just a shame that it's broken up by a second act that I, straight up, do not give more than a single fuck about. Let's talk about Sakurako and Mine. Sakurako and Mine essentially play no role in this story. I would go as far as to say they play less of a role in this story than any of the other idols. Originally, I figured that we would get something about how they are perceived versus how they actually are. The entire idol event seems to follow this theme of getting an image change. It's pretty explicit with the Sweet Police, since they're literally trying to make the public peace and public safety bureaus more approachable. And if you'll let me reach a bit, make the image of eating donuts as a cop look cute rather than lazy. But you can see it in Abydos and Utaha as well. Ayane and to a lesser extent Serika are dressed and assumedly perform contrary to how they usually are. The gap between their respective shy and hot-headed personalities with the cool and attention-grabbing outfits invoke the idea of breaking out of your shell or declaring to the world that you're still there. Utaha performing as an Enka idol trying to promote her Thunder Gun blends traditionalism with technology, shifting the image of Millennium from futurists who pave a way forward no matter what is lost, to prudent engineers trying to bring the past with them. Even at the beginning, the entire point of Antique Seraphim is that they want an image change because both of the founding members of the group are often misunderstood. Sakurako with her words and Mine with her actions. But in the chapters that break away from Mari's story, to focus again on Sakurako and Mine, we basically don't get anything at all elaborating on this theme. We literally break away from Mari's story for 2 decently long chapters to not even start an arc with Sakurako or Mine. There's something in there about Sakurako being too reliant on other people, but what does that have to do with being an idol? Or changing your image? Now, of course, I stretched my imagination a bit for the other idols to match them with this theme, but the literal deuteragonists of the event don't get that privilege if they are going to have so much screen time and do nothing with it. Could you imagine, after Mari leaves to rest, you have a conversation with Sakurako about the reputation of the sisterhood? She tells you about how it is well earned, about how the sisterhood used to be a lot darker, more controlling, more secretive during the history of Trinity. She expresses to you that she hopes that Antique Seraphim shows their neutrality isn't something to be feared, but so that anyone can confide in them without worry of borders or allegiances. She could then lament about how she is always so easily misunderstood. She always has good intentions, but she seems to always approach conversation the wrong way. She sees herself in the sisterhood, the image change being for her as much as it is for the organization. But maybe this venture is no different from her missteps in trying to relate to her fellow students. Is this really doing anything to help, or is this just propaganda, lampshading for the past of the sisterhood? Idols instead of martyrs, but could we just be looking for more followers? To seize power while maintaining that we want no such thing? But instead all we get is a half-baked arc about Sakurako being more independent. Was that even a thing before? And an admittedly alright joke playing off how both groups are often misunderstood. The dark horse of this act is surprisingly Nagisa. She is a nice moment of continuity from the end of Eden Treaty, where initially she dismisses the rumors of the Sisterhood and Remedial Knights coming together to form a joint military force. She has a little less edge now. She's a smoother Nagisa, and only takes action once she's gotten more information that confirms there's something going on. Mika also gets a nice moment playing into the image change theme, where she doesn't want to fight because of how good she's been recently. It just baffles me how much Sakurako and Mine seem like an afterthought in their own event. It bogs down Mari's story as well, of course by taking a rather unnecessary break from it, but also because Mari doesn't really play into this theme of image change either. Fundamentally, she comes close to it because she does change. She becomes more willing to accept and express her own feelings, but ironically, her image is the least changed of the three in becoming an idol. She's still bright and welcoming, her intentions with becoming an idol not that different from when she was a sister. There isn't much difference between Mari, idol, and Mari. I feel like Mine's EX skill animation as much of the aura they were trying to conjure for the event, where she does the same jumping start as her normal EX skill, but goes into an idle jump instead of a hostile dive. It's a shame that none of this was explored further. And that's the main story of Serenade Promenade. A bit of a mess where our light Mari and a few cute moments shine through what is a narrative pie that will sooner be remembered by the bellies it showed than the bellies it filled. Osanai negai ga kanaimasu you ni. "前に一歩踏み出したいけど思いよりうまくいかなくていつもね困ってるの気づいてくれるかなそっとそっと近づきたくてもっともっと喋りしたくてずっとずっと隠してたの未熟な気持ちでも素直に向き合いたいだから心の扉叩くよすれ違う感情とかして混ざり合えるように君と繋いだこのメロディー世界中に響かせようどこまでも届くように